When we started looking at their products, they actually stood out completely. Immediately knew that you're working with a really open-minded creative company, and it really made the process of collaborating very fun and easy. They have some beautiful, incredible speaker options that maybe us as designers, we weren't even aware of. And we felt like there really was a need for something that could blend more seamlessly with different design styles.
Where we started with the sconce in order to have something that was maybe dual purpose. So having something that was a light and a speaker, it's really not, there's nothing really on the market that's comparable to that.
We felt by working on something that was more aesthetically driven and intended to be displayed in your home, it gives you more opportunity to put it in the less likely places. Like, how can we take speakers from something that you're trying to hide and make them more into something that you're trying to display? We found ourselves looking for beautiful objects and things to display in our home, and we wanted to kind of bring that perspective to speaker design. We definitely have had a lot of pinch me moments while working on this. I think from the perspective of, we feel so lucky to work with the Leon's team.
They're so open-minded as a company that it made it a very easy process. So here is where we could see in the market, and then working together as a team to kind of shift the views of audio and visual.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are. Maybe it's good morning. I don't know where you're at. I'm at One Button in Brooklyn, New York right now, hanging with our great partners here in the city. And I'm really excited to spend the next 30 to 45 minutes with you on a very unique Leon Live today that we're doing with our great partners at ProSource. Today, we are focusing all on what's in the mind of the designer. So we've got a number of designers that are going to be joining us today. We're going to explore a few questions, talk about how do they think about space, design, technology, and we are not disappointing in terms of our panel group. It's pretty remarkable. We'll have Toni Sabatino from the New York area, also in sort of in the Florida area. Toni will tell you all about her business, Mike Stake Design down in Miami, Florida. And then we've got Megan and Tara on the call today from Mera Studio Architects, and they are the force behind the Leon Mera sconce. So we are really excited. We're also going to have Noah Kaplan with us, founder and CEO of Leon, and we're just really looking forward to diving into that topic. But before we get too far in, I thought it would be great to just take a couple of moments with the CEO of ProSource himself, Mr. Jim Pierce. Jim, thank you for being here today.
What's up, ProSource? How's everybody doing? Thanks for inviting me. Really excited to have a pretty large audience for your event today. I just want to let you guys know we've really been spending time with Leon, kind of understanding really the evolution of Leon, in my opinion, and what they're doing to really evolve their business, bringing completely new design verticals to the table and really expanding what they do. And it's product categories like this that it's really, really important for everybody to pay attention to and really expand the basket, as I call it, with all of your customers, particularly to the extent that business is slowing down a little bit in terms of new leads. This is a wonderful relationship to lean into to continue to drive profitability. So, we really appreciate the partnership with you guys, and thanks for inviting us today.
Yeah, thank you, Jim, and thank you, ProSource. We are proud ProSource partners many years, and we are having a great time not only talking about the Leon story, but why we're relevant really in the mind of the designer, which is what we're going to explore today. This is not a Leon presentation. What we're really talking about today is really what does a designer think about. So, Jim, we'll invite you back towards the end of our session today. And I'll go ahead and just get ready to introduce the rest of the crew. Thank you, Jim, for being here. Thank you. So just for everybody's benefit, a couple of housekeeping items. Number one, you can chat in the comments section, and you can definitely ask questions to our panelists, and we're going to be monitoring that throughout. Second is your participation today does not go unnoticed. So we're going to give you an opportunity to take advantage through your participation through an attendance special. You watch for an email from Leon afterwards to help you get some Leon in your showroom and your spaces. Additionally, we've got a number of targets together in ProSource to help drive our business and growth together. So we'll be outlining those in a follow-up message to you around the ways that can happen. And we're excited to just see the business continue to pick up throughout the year. Leon is up year on year in growth, and we are definitely going into the back half of the year with a lot of momentum. But let's go ahead and jump right into our topic today. I want to bring in first and foremost my partner in the biz here, Mr. Noah Kaplan. Noah, we're about to let everybody else into the studio, but a couple of words from you before we get too far in today.
Well, first of all, thanks everybody from ProSource for joining us today. Jeff, it's good to see you out in New York. Yeah, today we're going to dig deeper into design. What I've loved talking about, like how Jim was talking about the evolution of Leon. You know, for over 25 years, we have studied kind of the relationship between design and technology. We've always believed that these two things were meant to come together. And literally in the last 5 years, we can all see that that's not only true, but it's actually more of the norm these days. What we've noticed is not only is the demands of technology changing, but people are expecting there to be design options. We're imagining the technology of the future to feel more like home goods, home wares. Things are made out of beautiful materials, things that aren't mass produced. The things that feel like the rest of the stuff in the house. And
yeah.
Everybody kind of changing to that. And, like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, not everybody was doing lighting and shades.
Right.
Now you can see it's lighting and shades and sound. It's all the ambience of the house. And sort of our new vision, our new mission, we always say is balanced by design.
Right.
Right. That's our internal mission. And I think that what our industry's vision actually is aligned with that as well. Like, finding that balance between design and technology. And for us, specifically art and audio, I think that these things really transform a house, and makes a house kind of cool and livable. So I'm excited to have the designers that helped us bring the new products to life, new designers that I've worked with, and actually designers I'm hoping to work with.
Yeah,
on the call right now.
We, which is amazing. When we went to ICFF earlier this year, we had hundreds and hundreds of designers come into our space, ask us questions. Many of them were like, I had no idea this was even available. And at Leon, we think we've been talking like ad nauseum. But the point is, we literally went home with the business cards of well over 500 new friends, in design. So today, what we're going to do is invite some of our design partners to the table, and just really talk about what is on their mind. I talk to dealers every day that I want to be more relevant. Today is about how do you become more relevant and learn a little bit more. So first, let's I'm going to bring them all in, and they're all going to do a brief introduction. So here they come. We've got Toni Sabatino from Long Island, among other places. We have Megan and Tara from Mera Studio Architects. They are up in Calgary. And then last but not least, Mike Stake from Mike Stake Design down in Miami. This is our illustrious panel today. Welcome, folks. We're glad to have you.
How are you? Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I promised everybody I'd give you kind of like 30 seconds. Who are you? So let's like kind of cue the music here. There should be some background music. But Toni, I'm going to give you the first chance. Just tell the world a little bit about who is Toni Sabatino, Toni Sabatino Design, Style. Here you go. Are you ready?
Absolutely. So, hi everybody. I'm Toni Sabatino. My company, Toni Sabatino Style, is a boutique design firm. I'm a band of one. I work as a team member, a lot of different teams, focusing on lifestyle. What do I mean by that? I'm going to guide the client to make the best possible long-term investment in their lifestyle and what may be their most significant asset being their home. And then we get into technology. I don't even call it that. I just think of it as infrastructure because, I mean, you need it, right? So everybody wants security, comfort, entertainment. And we look at it that way. And then we see how we can weave it all in.
Awesome. Thanks, Toni. I love it. And that's a beautiful Ente sound tile behind you there. We love it. We've been working with Toni for some time. Thank you. Let's bring in Megan and Tara from, how we doing?
Good, how are you guys?
Go for it.
I'm Megan, this is Tara. We're the owners of Mera Studio Architects. We run a boutique architecture and interior design company in Calgary, Canada. Although we have clients kind of North America based, we specialize in high-end single-family residence, and that's from concept to completion and all the pieces in between, as well as hospitality design. We have a second company called Very Very Shop, which primarily deals with our procurement and our retail side. And last but not least, we also have collaborated for the Mera Sound Sconce with Leon. So we've been working with these guys for quite some time, coming up with a pretty rad product.
Yeah, and just for everybody's benefit, this is the Mera Sound Sconce collaboration with Mera Studios. It's awesome. From a design standpoint, we're thrilled when a design team like Mera comes to Leon and says, hey, I'm trying to solve something. And being able to collaborate and work together is something that we really, really enjoy doing. I'm going to show Toni's one of our award winners last year. And I'm thrilled to have Mike on the call today. I really just met Mike here in the last couple of weeks. Mike's doing some beautiful projects. Mike, I'm going to add you now to the stage. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Mike Stake Design?
Sure. Yeah, Mike Stake Studio is an interior design firm based in Miami. We're fairly interdisciplinary. Not only do we do interior design, interior architecture, we also get into construction management and owner's representation. Over the years, we've been doing this for about 20 years. And over the years, most of our clients are not based in Miami, or our clients, the projects are outside of Miami and need, kind of single source type of responsibility. So, years ago, we were part of the program was distributed audio. Now it's obviously smart home control, lighting, et cetera. So, we do a lot of it internal in the studio, and then we work with partners to execute on that.
I love it. I love it. All right. This is a solid group, and I'm really looking forward now to kind of diving into a couple of questions. So this is kind of loose. I'm going to direct the first question to Toni to kind of kick us off. This is not sequential. Toni will have a couple of comments, then we're going to invite our panelists to jump in and comment on it. But I want to talk a little bit about what is the strategic and creative approach that goes into a project, right? So when you're looking at strategic, creative, artistic, stylistic design intent, how do you get started when you imagine and you start off down the path? So Toni, we'll start with you.
I think I'm not going to be unique in this, and I love being on the panel with everybody here because I think we're lifestyle based. And so what does that really mean? I think we're driven by the client and what they're passionate about. So when we talk about that and really see how they want to live and what their value set is, you have people that are into cars, people that are into expensive handbags, people that are into music. There's all different types of people. And I think dialing it down to what they really love and getting them excited, because when people are excited, then they're willing to spend the money on the things that they're really excited about. I see Mike smiling over there. You agree?
You're right. You're absolutely right. Definitely.
Awesome. So, when you guys at Mera think about this, Megan and Tara, how do you guys dive in? Where do you? I've heard you talk a lot about personalization, but maybe you could bring that to life in some of the things that you all do.
I feel like that's kind of like a loaded, tough question, but the thing that immediately popped into my mind is that we were really focused on creating a feeling. And I think maybe that might be the fact that we branch a lot between hospitality and residential design. In hospitality projects, you're very concept driven, which very much is about feelings and what the emotions you can evoke in a space. And we really take that, we apply it to residential design as well. And this goes so hand in hand with audio and AV in this space and how that can amplify the concept or the feeling that you're trying to create. So that can start with when we first interview our clients and the feelings that we get from them. Those like memories or things that they're tied to that they want to bring into spaces, or how they want to feel when they're spending time in a space with their children. I think we look at how everything from materiality to sound to light, how that can amplify or emphasize feelings in a space.
I love that.
Yeah, maybe to build off something that Toni said, a lot of a lot of the work that we do are for clients that this is not necessarily a primary home, but as a second or third home, or vice versa. They're here, but they have other places. So a lot of times the discussion's about, well, what don't you have in your other homes? Like, what do you want different in this place? Or whether it's a system or it's furniture or whatever, what do you not love about some other places that here you would really like that to be top notch? So, it might be where, it's a home control system that didn't really work out well, it was glitchy. So I want nothing. I want a dumb house. Or I have a dumb house, but I want to be able to control it from afar. So now I need a smart house. I want everything, on a phone, but it could also, be furniture, a lot of other things. But it's kind of like, what don't you have that you would really love in this home? What can I get you excited about this project?
Don't you find too, all of you, that that luxury is more about experiential living? It's not so much about what you have, but how you live. And I think, to your point, the controls and all of that are a part of that. I think people want things to be simple, but I think people really like the idea that the home can really nurture them, and they want to entertain well. I think that that's a key here. I think, and it's not just entertaining to show off. It's really making your friends and family feel comfortable in your space and making your home the most popular for the family celebrations and the holidays, because you have great lighting and everything looks beautiful in great lighting, right? And then, you've got the music to set the mood, and all the furnishings and beauty and art to go with it. So the idea of the big black hole in the wall, you're talking about all of this loveliness where everything you use is really beautiful. I went to Milan and everything was beautiful, or it was hidden. There was a sort of an integrated lifestyle with like all sorts of visual rhymes throughout, and then statement art pieces. So it's a lot of fun to me that the sound can become a statement art piece.
Yeah. Noah, this would be a perfect, I know this has really affected your whole life. Like, you, as an artist, you moved into this space trying to sort of close a gap. But, I'm hearing words that I hear you talk about all the time. So I'd love to hear your take on this.
Well, first, I love hearing everybody's kind of individualized approach, because I feel like we're all working towards the same thing, which is to really feel connected to the people we're working with, have tons of creative inspirations. And Toni, like you were mentioning, I'm completely into those eye candy pieces that are just like, going to be individual, unique to the customer, but are also really different, handmade, bespoke to that kind of home, that style. I think lifestyle really is leading the charge right now. And I just got back also from a trip overseas, and I was completely taken back by the austerity of the design, like the simplicity of the materiality that I saw around, parts of northern Italy. All I saw was larch wood and plaster. Like, if you didn't have something that, if it didn't fit in there, there's no chance it was going there. So almost everything had to be picked perfectly. That's what I love about working with designers and architects and people, is that everybody's tastes are so different, but I think we could all agree on a couple of things that, like, the universal language of music is important to everybody.
Yeah.
Lighting, a beautiful light fixture. I saw light fixtures that were unimaginable sculptural, gigantic, and it just lit me on fire to imagine like how far can we push this. So I'm hoping that we get to collaborate a ton more. And even people from ProSource on this call right now, we are seeing dramatic changes in showroom design. Right now, you're in Matt Emmy's office, an amazing integrator partner. We're working on huge transformations in his office. But from a ProSource standpoint, I'm working with dealers all across the country who are like re-energizing their spaces to incorporate more design and make it feel less gadgety and more just like a lifestyle environment. So I've been recommending not to work with me, but to work with people like Mike and Tony and Megan and Tara, or their local designers, to really get that local flavor of whatever, like what materials are being used, and let's use them in the showroom. Let's pick those fixtures, let's pick those lights, and really transform like the way a customer feels when they walk into your space.
I love that. This is going to kind of tee up my second question. We're going to go to Megan and Tara on this one. It's so we're talking to a lot of people watching in today. Us either work with you or want to work with you, want to be more relevant in your world. I'm just going to ask a question I know is on their mind. What kind of ideas do you want them to bring to the table? Or some might be afraid to give you ideas, like they're going to get swatted down. Like Megan, Tara, let's start with you. How do you want your CI partner, your integration partner, to work with you?
That's a tricky question, because I think that there's a number of different ways you can work together. You even think about like the way you introduce yourself to a client, or a new project is commencing, and some people will show up to a meeting with a binder full of stuff they've collected as a child, and this is the inspiration they wanted as a house. Some people will arrive and they have absolutely nothing, and they're waiting for you to kind of understand what they want and build that product. So I think that there's not really one answer, and every project is completely different, but I think it's just the start of a conversation and understanding, I guess, the relationship in what each party can do and where you could go together, right? Like it's introducing a client to the Mera Sound sconce, it's introducing the client to an NT tile, it's opening up their eyes to see these products and working with an integrator to be able to make these things seamless for a client perspective.
Yeah. I do feel like there is a big educational element, because if I was to speak honestly about our experience with technology, I would say until recently we were less versed in it, and maybe that was just a local problem, but we may not have known where to start to learn about the products. It was just by chance that we were introduced to the Leon line of products, and I think that was really eye-opening for us. And then being able to go to the CEDIA conference was really eye-opening for us. I think that we're the type of design firm that we don't limit ourselves to what we see in the city or the reps that we know. We really do a lot of research and look for the things that have specific aesthetics that we feel suit our projects. But sometimes I think half the battle is getting yourself in front of designers. And I think it sounds silly to say this, but I think having a beautiful showroom that a designer can take their client to, and the client can walk into the space and imagine the products being in their home, can go a long way. I think if you walk into a showroom and it's very cold, or you can't separate the products from what you're seeing in the space and imagine it in the style of your home, I think that can do a disservice. So it definitely is a challenge that I think it's kind of about how you present yourself to the world and how you make almost like an aspirational space for people to go into and envision your products in their home or project.
I have a little bit different take on it, only because I work, I think, a little bit like Mike in regard to out of my area, right? So I live in New York, but I'm working on a couple of projects in Florida, done a big project out in California, and a lot of the people that I work with aren't going to go to the showroom. They're going to look to me to just take their lifestyle and apply it, right? And bring them stuff to go with the stuff they told me they were really passionate about, that we're sort of working around. And I think shout out to my integrator Rex from Premier Systems Design, because the project that we got the Leon Award for was about it was about black and white. It was about some people that, there we go. So what you can't see there is that the top of that wall. It's about a 27-foot wall, and at 24 feet there's a half round because the ceiling wasn't flat. And the people are very interesting people. I worked with them before. They had a very traditional home and decided to downsize. Hence the traditional chairs with the wild fabric on them. They're a lot of fun. They have 5 dogs. They're into sports, and the man is an engineer. So the idea of the giant TV on that wall, when you look at those chairs, those are big chairs. That's a big TV. Those are big windows. So we needed something. You couldn't put a wimpy little sound bar into there. And Rex was like, hey, Leon Edge, you know, and I was so excited that he came up with a solution to bail me out. We've got sheetrock in speakers behind us because they could not be set symmetrically, and they actually sound great, so I was happy about that. But this was the greatest solution because it looks like it belongs there. So having my integrator be able to talk to me about what I'm looking for in the house. There's Control4 everywhere. We put the shades in. They had to be integrated into the system. And I don't know anything about technology. I know I want it to work. So I know what I want the lifestyle to be. And then having him say, hey, Toni, we can do this. And, you know, I'm going to have to put a hole in the wall over there. And, you know, whatever, like as we're walking through the project, has really been a game changer for me. I feel like he understands me. So I don't always have that on every project. You know, I work with different team members in different locales. I'm sure you guys all, you know, don't always have the same subs, or maybe you're lucky enough that you do. I do not. So getting to know the person who is that trade is tricky. And I think just having a meeting where everybody knows what they're responsible for, and then being able to communicate well gives the client the best result.
Yeah, I think that's well said. And your relationship with your integrator is pretty unique. And it's like you describe, bring me ideas. I don't know what's possible. I heard you just say, you're talking like, home control, Toni, like you can do a Control4 configuration. That would be like massively impressive. But you also said what we hear more often than not, which is, I don't know how you're going to do that. And Mike, I know you've got some really unique stuff that you've done. Artistically speaking, we've got some images as well of a lift project that you did. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what you were tackling with that one.
Sure. Yeah, this was actually a kind of a functional type of issue. This is a condo in South Beach in Miami, and it's a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, not the largest apartment, and the front door is pretty near this area. So the clients love TV, love sports, but if we put a huge TV on this wall, even if it was a frame TV, it really would detract from the elegance of the room. So we commissioned a piece of art, a diptych, and worked with Future Automation to have that art, separate in the middle. Wow. And have what's a fairly large TV recessed into the woodwork in the back. So if they're not watching TV, beautiful piece of art. If they're home watching TV, whatnot, it just automatically slides out of the way, and and works pretty well. Yep. Just to build a little bit on what the other guy said. So my recommendation to a lot of integrators would be, keep it simple. And this is directly, Jeff, your question. I would say keep it simple, but don't be shy about suggesting things or bringing up new ideas, or asking questions about, well, what kind of current problems are you having in your current house, or what new things have you heard about that you're kind of interested in, but you don't know anything about it? Because it is kind of surprising sometimes when a client will initially say, I don't really want anything in that home tech market. Once you kind of chisel away at, well, would you appreciate this feature, or would you like your house to be like that? All of a sudden, well, actually, I would like that. Oh, well, that sounds interesting. Is that difficult? Is that going to be confusing for you? So I think if you're solution oriented, yeah, and ask a lot of questions and understand kind of why people are coming from where they're coming from, you'd be kind of surprised at what you can add into a project. And I think also things have changed so much in 10 years. I mean, you mentioned Control4 and other things. I mean, some of those, home control products have been pretty glitchy. And there's a lot of clients who have had not great experiences with it, whether it's the product, the integrator, or their own technological ability. But some people have a predisposition against certain things that today is actually not the reality. And, with a little bit of education, suggestion, and selling, it's a little bit different situation.
I just want to jump in there and say streaming was a game changer for me. I'm old. I admit to being old. And I've watched all these things change drastically. And you go into, I love all the companies. I love Crestron. I love Savant. I love Control 4. I've used switches from a company called Vitria, all sorts of different things. And I think there's a time and a place for each one of those, depending on the needs of the client and the kind of a relationship they want to have, because I feel that's another important factor. When you buy a new TV or you get excited about some new item and you want it woven into your tapestry of infrastructure, I'm not going to cut my own hair or operate on my own knee, so I don't want to be trying to do that myself. I think it's definitely an interesting trade, and I think that streaming is a game changer for me. All those boxes that I did a project years and years ago where there was a gazillion boxes and a gazillion labeled wires, and maybe they're labeled, but nobody wants to read them, right? So the streaming situation where you used to have 30 boxes to do something, I'll say two more things and I'll be quiet, but we had free 100 CD changers, right? I mean, isn't that ridiculous to think about now in a basement? And you don't need any of that stuff anymore, right? Because you got this. So I think when we realize that, and somebody again like me that's watched the changes, the magic is marvelous.
Yeah. Noah, you're chuckling. What's striking a chord?
Well, I'm lucky in that I get to travel everywhere and talk to so many different people and integrators and designers and customers, and every region is different. To Mike's point, I've had customers who are just like, I just literally want a button. And luckily there are amazingly beautiful brass buttons that you can put in a house that are home controls, but don't feel like home controls. You're not connected to a device. Like Toni said, things are working a lot better now. This has been a really fast evolution if you think about the last 5 or 10 years. And we're at an inflection point. We are at a time when the technology is working well. We've all lived through the time when it wasn't, and that really kind of hurt customer relationships and client relationships. So I think it's important that we all revisit a lot of the relationships we had, and ask, what did you like? What didn't you like? I think everyone's approach, from empathetic design to kind of figuring out what the person's passionate about, all the way to Mike's approach, which is, hey, what can we make that's even better here? And I love to be unapologetic about this. It's fun. This is fun. These are all toys. And if we do it right, you are playing and you are not working, right? I believe all this is going to actually evolve into even greater things. So if, we love to look back sort of on technology to figure out how to go forward. And if you look, from late 1930s to 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s design, you had all these technology objects that were really built like high-end furnishings. They came from Italy. They came from Japan. They were handmade in Paris. They were handmade in the States even in Michigan, with Herman Miller, Hallworth. You had Charles and Ray Eames. You had Dieter Rams designing products for the period. What I love about the people on this call is you guys are incredibly important to us to help us shape the future. Working on the Mera sound sconce with Megan and Tara, they had more ideas than we could ever build in 35 years. We chose the first 5 that we thought we could actually execute quickly. Working with Toni and Mike, Miami's on fire. I mean, you could barely keep up with the amount of cranes in that area. That's why we have 3 design centers now in Florida. Miami, the Lighting Loft being our newest ones, where designers can actually go there and interact with dealers, with designers. So in creating that relationship, that space that we could all hold together, we could have those conversations, is definitely part of our strategic future. And like Toni in New York, we'll have 2 integrators, one in Brooklyn, one in Manhattan, we'll have all these products up and live and running. So at the next ICFF, we could send all those 500 designers somewhere to make these connections that you guys are all talking about. Calgary, I'm going to just send them right to you, Megan and Tara, because I want to come to rodeo. They have a huge party every year. They're called rodeo.
Stampede.
Stampede, not rodeo. My bad. I call it the rodeo because I know you have to dress, in cowboy boots and a hat and all that. But I'm coming one year. But I think that just like Megan and Tara were saying, how do we create these spaces together? And I think these relationships are so critical, and there's so much growth to be had between both parties. I learn so much every time I work on a new product. Like, I didn't know what shagreen was until I worked with a crazy designer in New York City who made me wrap an entire speaker box with shagreen, which, by the way, is stingray skin. So you guys know I'm the one still who has to work with these exotic materials. So please keep them coming. We want to try new things.
So I want to just close out, and we'll start with Megan and Tara as we kind of finish up here today on sort of that question. So it's like, what's got you excited as you're looking into the future? I would say the Mera sconce is the most exciting thing in the world, but you might have some other things that are exciting. But let's start with you. What's got you excited? Before we kind of just go to closing here, I want to hear each one of you talk about, what are you seeing in the future? What's got you fired up?
Actually, one thing that, just to kind of backtrack a little bit, we were introduced to Leon and what you guys do from our integrator. So we had no idea what this world could actually entail and what hole we were kind of moving on our side. So we're excited to see this vast ability to do something really cool with this a holistic design of speakers and light and sound and everything kind of working together. I'm excited to kind of make it a fully holistic design.
Awesome.
And to develop more speakers with you guys.
Yeah.
That's the future.
I was been asked about an exterior version of the Mera Sound Sconce, and I feel we got to set up a meeting to talk about this.
There's more.
All in.
All right, Mike, let's go to you. Mike, what's got you fired up about the future?
Well, I guess, I don't know. So I think, things, for a while, our whole thing was invisibility. We use aminas and things like that to make technology, speakers, everything else, invisible, to the environment. So the music is just, enveloping, and you're not really noticing holes in the ceiling, things like that. But I don't know, but, and with, controls, and now it feels like, whether it's the keypads, least keypads, Forbes and Lomax, System 22 outlets, a lot of the things that we need to see still a little bit are becoming very beautiful. They're becoming, antique brass. We've used one in a very, very modern apartment, and we're now using at least keypads in a 130-year-old house, because in a way you can make it look very, historic, with the little buttons and things. Or even things like, the sconce, that, the beautiful sconce that Mera Studio designed, or even we use the Leon soundbar, that's perfectly tailored to a frame TV on a beautiful wall. And we really needed the soundbar. The clients really wanted excellent sound to go with their very large frame TV, but it had to look decent. We didn't want to bury aminas in the wall and deal with that kind of sound quality. And so, having, a soundbar that was perfectly tailored, you can have some of the technology that's visible, but it looks like it belongs. So, I think now just having some beautiful accessories like that.
I love that. That's great. Toni, how about you?
I am looking forward to people adopting technology in the home the way they expect it in their cars. And when we get there, then, we can really get playful. I love the idea of how playful we can be and all the art pieces. And it just makes me excited to think about coming out to Detroit and seeing what's going on there.
Awesome. So that's a perfect, everybody, you are always invited to come visit in Ann Arbor. And we are curating some design expeditions, we're calling them. So a chance to go see some really fun things in a hub of creativity, Southeast Detroit, like Detroit area. We've got a lot of fun things to share. So thanks for saying that. We're looking forward to hosting you as well. Well, it's been awesome today, everyone. Thank you again. I'm going to do rapid fire send off. Each one of you final thought. And I'm going to start with Mera. We'll go to Toni and Mike, and then Noah will get the final word, and I'll bring Jim back, and we'll wrap up today. So Megan, Tara, final word. What do you got?
I don't know. It was all this like exciting experience for us to be part of this division of design. It's a long time coming. Yeah, I feel like we're just like very excited to be working with the Leon teams, and where you're so open-minded, and I think you're just such a great example of like not feeling limited by sound and technology. I think once you think outside of the box, there is a lot of opportunities and a lot of products out there, and I would just encourage people to open themselves up and explore all the cool technology.
Awesome. Thank you. Well said. Well said. Okay, Toni, I promised you next, right?
Okay, so I like to ask people what they want their sound to look like, you know, when they stop for a second and think about that, because it's a little bit of a fun, provocative question. And I just love, I love working with people who are passionate about their craft and getting the team together and just putting the whole lifestyle together. It's just a lot of fun. So I would just say to people, embrace the challenges. That's it.
Let's be playful. I like it. I like it. I've taken that away. Mike, how about you? Last thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've probably said enough, but one thing thanks a lot for including me today. And I really did enjoy the chat. I've actually picked up a couple of things today. So it was very nice. So I just wish everyone a great afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
So much. Noah, take us out. What are your final thoughts today?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for being here. You guys completely inspire me. Every time I get to be in a conversation like this, I feel completely energized. I want to go run through the wall and continue to design everything and look for everything in the world. So thank you so much. And really looking forward to seeing everybody at CEDIA. The Airstream just came back, put a new axle in, touched it up. We're designing the interior right now. So we're rolling the Airstream out this year. Really look forward to seeing everybody where you can see, touch, feel, hear these projects, and just love collaborating with everybody. So thanks again for joining.
Awesome. Thanks, Noah. Thank you all. And yes, the Airstream is back. It's leaving Detroit, headed for Denver. All right, I'm gonna move you guys all to the backstage. Thanking you again for your time today, and we'll definitely follow up in our communications to our attendees with links to your work so that they can check out a little bit more about what you're each doing. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, while I clean up the stage here, let me just, before I bring Jim Pierce back in, let me thank you again for being here today. I'm going to bring Jim in, and as I do, I'm going to talk just about two things really quickly. Number one, we are part of a buying group. So what does that mean? We get rebate when we move stuff, and we are definitely committed to doing that together. And to help you do that, we've got an opportunity to update your showroom for ProSource members. What we'll do is when you can put three things together, a frame, a sound bar, and some other element to match it, we call it frame it, match it, enhance it, we will give you our deepest demo discounts to make that occur. And we're on a mission to do it. We'll communicate with you on how to do it, and excited as we go into Q4. Jim, final thoughts maybe from you today as we wrap up, as you've kind of heard what we're talking about. We've got you, Jim, you're muted. You might need to unmute here real quick.
Sorry, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. Excellent call. I'll finish by saying I really want you to think about the Rex and Toni relationship and how Toni lit up when she talks about her relationship with Rex. And you guys can build that. You just have to have the confidence to do it. And what it does is it makes Toni better, and it makes all of you better when you really have the confidence to go build those relationships and do amazing things in these homes. I would also like to invite everybody to 1010 in Golden, Colorado. When you're at CEDIA, we're putting in a 5,000 square foot experience center that shows everything that our integrators do. And it's the only place in the country that pulls all this together. And thanks, Leon, for your support. You guys are at the tip of the spear of really evolving the consumer electronics category. So thank you.
Thanks, Jim. We appreciate that. And we are absolutely in 1010, excited for it. We'll see you guys all at CEDIA in a few weeks. We're going to take you out with a Leon Loft performance. We always like sharing some of our greatest shows ever. And today I'm going to share with you guys a little Amos Lee. So crank up your speakers and enjoy this historical moment in the Leon Loft. Thanks for being here today, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
We welcome to the Leon Loft, Amos Lee.
Some days I can't get myself out the box. Some days I can't find keys to any locks. Some days I feel like it's all overblown. And then I look at you and I don't feel so alone. And I say, hey, let your little light shine. Let your little light shine for the world to see. Hey, let your little light shine. Let your little light shine for the world to see. Some days I can't get myself out the race. All that cold wind blows right in my face. Some days I feel like I'm against the wall. But then I look at you standing strong and tall against it all. Hey, let your little light shine. Let your little light shine for the world to see. Yeah. Hey, let your little light shine. Let your little light shine for the world to see. And I'm gonna keep on looking for the stars in the sky. I'm gonna keep on looking for the stars. Yeah, oh. Hey, let your little light shine. Let your little light shine for the world to see. Hey, let your little light shine. Let your little light shine for the world to see. Hey, let your little light shine. Let your little light shine for the world to see.
Thanks. Thank you.